Well, it's been 4 episodes, so let's check out the request we have on our poll on DeviantArt. So, as we look at one of the first place ties, we have the strongest sage with the weakest crest. I am your host, and welcome to the Lesser Look. The fantasy adventure series from the Square Enix manga, based on the light novel of the same name by Shinkiko Shoto, is produced by JC Staff and is available for streaming through Crunchyroll. This series is a hard one to take, as it's a straight fantasy, but it borrows so much from fantasy's little stepchild, isekai. Seriously, in this fantasy, the main character treats this world so much like a game that he kills himself to reincarnate to max out his abilities, and he's constantly referring to things in RPG terms, from experience points to level bosses. This is a bit of a head scratcher when it comes to that. And add to it that it is a power fantasy to boot. In a power fantasy, the main character is way overpowered from the start and just keeps on becoming more of a badass. Hell, when done well in shows like Reincarnated as a Slime or I'm a Spider, So What? The idea of a power fantasy can be done so long as the plot and characters are interesting. But sadly, this show just keeps on missing on being interesting at all. Allow me to show you. Episode 1 begins with our hero doing the dirty deed of offing himself to gain the final crest of power that is only achievable at birth. So, he is reborn and carries on with all his past experiences and skills. Born now as Matthias Hagelsheimer. Yeah, that's a mouthful. He is born with the 4th crest, the crest that many dub the worst crest. Why is it dubbed that? We don't know. The anime doesn't really touch on these things. But, hey, back when he was previously living, we do know that it was considered the strongest. So how does the strongest become the weakest? We don't know. Anime doesn't want to tell us. But let's ignore the deeper look into the magic of this world at this time, because we have 2 anime girls that we need to introduce. They show up needing a magic sword, and our hero immediately shows up a blacksmith on his enchanting skill. Then he and the girls go to try out at the 2nd Magic Academy, where he and the girls both have to take a test. The girls barely pass, but he, on the other hand, of course, he stomps through those challenges. Easily, so much that he's taken before the authorities of the school. Thinking he's in trouble, he actually finds out that he is being promoted to teacher. Yeah. This anime just promotes him to teacher. Right after he tries an entrance exam. That happens, anime. Then they have to have some sort of magic competition with their rival school at the 1st Magic Academy. And when he goes into the fight, well, it's just him versus 3 others, one of which he automatically detects as a demon and eliminates it, thus ending the episode. I kid you not, that is an entire episode. Just him showing up, everybody. I kid you not, what I just read for you is everything that happens in one episode. Jeebus, how can you cram all this story and still not give me 1 second of character development? I mean, I have no idea what the heck to say. If you were to break down this episode into 3 parts and actually gave me time to identify with the character in some manner or form, then maybe I could say the show was good. But this sounds like the story of a rambling child, telling you how strong and awesome they are in their story about themselves. How did this become good enough to become an anime from the company that brought us Food Wars and Toradora. Episode 2 starts with our main character brought before the king, who wants to thank him, but can't because he can't make it public that demons are in actual existence. Never mind that it occurred in a stadium full of people. So rewarding the guy who killed the demon would be showing the world that demons exist. Guess the king needs to be getting to killing a lot of people in the audience too. Luckily, our hero doesn't want it either, and instead asks for the rights to use the dungeon below the city to farm for ingredients. He then is also taken the royal treasury, where he takes a sword that his previous life had made, and a necklace that he also made in his previous life. The necklace boosts his experience gain. Anime, are you a straight fantasy or an isekai? Make up your mind, because when I watch The Witcher, I don't see Geralt teaching Ciri how to make some mad XP gains. Getting back to the show, in this episode, our hero joins with the two girls and they form a party. Going into the dungeon, he teaches them how to be power players as well. And then they make easy work of the monsters inside, including the one he said would be a challenge to him. But it's nothing but a quick pushover. How is this supposed to be interesting? Episode 3 picks up as our trio turn in the treasure they have to a guild that states the stuff is equal to a national treasure. Meanwhile, two demons attack, and our hero gets the girls to focus on the weaker one while he fights, quote, the stronger one. And I kid you not, I watched the most boring fight I have ever seen. While he claims the demon poses a threat, even one spell that could kill him, there is no real challenge or threat in this fight. He simply wipes the floor with the demons, and the girls kind of help out. It brings us the most dull and boring fight I have ever seen. In a season where studios give me a badass fight between an archer and a biker, you give me a one-sided snooze fest? But the show continues, and again we're before the king accepting more rewards for the demons. But this time, while the king is talking, the hero detects a demon watching on and blasts it through magical sight. And then precisely locates the demon that was spying on it miles away. I kid you not, this anime just keeps on giving an overpowered character more moments and no threat of build for an actual plot or character development, just pure power fantasy. And then, just to put a fat cherry on this overpowered character, we get to a dragon that he knew in his past life. And after proving to her that he knew her, she starts whimpering and grovels at his feet. He heals her wings that have taken damage over the years, and the girls fly off. And the episode ends there. Well, there you have it. All that happens in episodes 1 through 3. And honestly, I felt like I was dragging myself through this anime. How this series is honestly at a 4 stars on Crunchyroll and has comments that say its pacing and plot are great is beyond me. Because try as I might, I fail to see any plot whatsoever. And while I don't get into details about the girls, I can really sum them up as blonde girl that enchants stuff and white-haired girl that uses a bow. Because that's all the character development they get. This series is seriously bad. It's a power fantasy without any interest in characters or plot to progression. And to say this show comes from such an exalted studio as JC Staff says this is a serious black mark on that company. But what of the art? The animation is okay, but not interesting. In designs of characters, monsters, or backgrounds. The only good marks I can give this series is its music and acting. Both good acting and music alone, though, does not make a decent anime, which is why I have to give this strong series, the strongest sage with the weakest crest, a solid meh rating. This is just avoiding a turd rating. I mean it. This series is not good. And sadly, I have to say, this is not a fun show, but it's not bad either. It's a slog to get through. But then some who love power fantasy might like this. For me, it's a strong pass. In 3 episodes, I found nothing of note to keep me watching. And I feel there are way too many better anime this season to watch. So maybe next week we'll find one. Hopefully on the next Lesser Look. Thank you for turning in to the Lesser Look. This video was made possible by these fine sponsors. If you would like to be a sponsor, please go to patreon.com/demonblade. Or if you would like to buy some of our merch, including the new eye shirt, they are now available at shop@imbriaarts.com/merch. And I want to thank you all for joining in today and have a wonderful week. We will see you again next week on The Lesser Look. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.